An imposing Victorian mansion stood in the heart of a small, quaint town, nestled between rolling hills and ancient woods. Its grandeur was only surpassed by the mysteries it held within its walls. The centerpiece of the mansion's grand foyer was a majestic grandfather clock that had stood sentinel for generations. The town's elderly residents spoke in hushed tones about the clock, whispering tales of magic that flowed through its gears and hands. The clock had been passed down from generation to generation, each family guarding its secrets with solemn reverence. However, the Turner family held the key to unlocking the clock's true potential. Benjamin Turner, a silver-haired gentleman with a twinkle in his eye, was the current patriarch of the Turner family. He had inherited the mansion and the clock from his forebears and had spent countless hours studying its intricate mechanisms. On the eve of his granddaughter Ruth's 18th birthday, Benjamin decided it was time to reveal the clock's extraordinary secret. Ruth, a curious and adventurous young woman, was often drawn to the mysterious ticking emanating from the clock. On the night of her birthday, Benjamin beckoned Ruth to the foyer, where the clock stood tall and proud. With a flick of his wrist, Benjamin opened a concealed compartment in the clock, revealing a small, ornate key. He carefully inserted it into the clock's hidden mechanism and turned it, causing the room to hum with an otherworldly energy. "The clock, Ruth, is not just a timekeeper, it's a time machine," Benjamin declared, his voice filled with pride and excitement. Ruth's eyes widened with disbelief, but before she could question her grandfather further, the clock began to glow with a soft, ethereal light. The room seemed to warp and twist as if reality was bending to the will of the ancient timepiece. Benjamin, with a reassuring smile, gestured for Ruth to step closer. Hesitant but intrigued, she approached the clock and found herself enveloped in the warm glow. The world around her blurred in an instant, and she felt a sensation akin to freefall. When Ruth's surroundings stabilized, she found herself standing in the midst of a bustling 1920s jazz club. The air was thick with the sounds of saxophones and laughter, and the dance floor pulsed with the lively energy of the roaring 20s. Amazement filled Ruth's eyes as she realized the true power of the grandfather clock. She marveled at the flapper dresses, the glinting Art Deco architecture, and the vivacity of an era long gone. Time travel had become a reality, and she was its witness. Over the course of 2 minutes, or so she thought, Ruth explored the vibrant world of the 1920s. She danced the Charleston, sipped cocktails in hidden speakeasies, and marveled at the revolutionary spirit that defined the era. Yet, as the clock struck midnight, a peculiar feeling gnawed at her consciousness. However, the passage of time had been anything but consistent. Benjamin revealed that in the real world, a whole year had passed during Ruth's 2-minute adventure in the roaring 20s. The revelation left Ruth stunned, struggling to reconcile the fleeting joy of her time-traveling experience with the impact it had on her present. Friends and family had aged a year, and the world outside had moved forward while she remained suspended in a dance with the past. While a gateway to enchanting realms, the grandfather clock carried the weight of temporal consequences. Benjamin, having experienced the ripple effect of time travel himself, shared stories of lost friendships, missed opportunities, and the bittersweet nature of reliving moments long gone. Undeterred by the unintended consequences, Ruth found herself drawn back to the clock. Her adventurous spirit and insatiable curiosity urged her to explore the vast tapestry of history despite the toll it took on her timeline. With each journey, Ruth witnessed the rise and fall of empires, the beauty of ancient civilizations, and the echoes of events that shaped the course of humanity. The grandfather clock became a vessel through time, a doorway to forgotten epochs, and Ruth, its intrepid explorer. The town's residents, noticing her unchanged appearance, began to suspect the magical nature of the clock. While Ruth reveled in the wonders of history, the toll on her relationships with the townsfolk deepened. The once bustling Victorian mansion now stood silent and empty, its inhabitants lost to the enigmatic allure of time travel. In the twilight of her journeys, Ruth stood before the grandfather clock again. The weight of the years she had witnessed pressed upon her, and a sense of isolation gripped her heart. The allure of the past had faded, replaced by the longing for a present she had inadvertently abandoned. With a heavy heart, Ruth decided to make one final journey. She set the clock to return her to the exact moment she had left, hoping to reclaim the life she had left behind. As the familiar glow enveloped her, she closed her eyes, yearning for the embrace of a world untouched by the relentless march of time. When Ruth opened her eyes, she stood in the grand foyer of the Victorian mansion, surrounded by the familiar ticking of the grandfather clock. However, the room felt different, the air charged with a melancholic nostalgia. Ruth's heart sank as she realized that time had woven a different story in her absence. The once vibrant town had aged, and the faces she once knew had become mere memories etched in the passage of time. The Victorian mansion, once a haven of familial warmth, stood as a silent testament to the irreversible nature of time. Ruth's return brought a poignant revelation. The very magic that had granted her the ability to traverse history had taken a toll on the fabric of her own life. The bittersweet truth echoed in the hollow corridors of the mansion as Ruth, now a solitary figure, came to terms with the ephemeral nature of existence. In the end, with its enchanting power, the grandfather clock offered Ruth the chance to dance with the past, but also exacted a toll on the present. As the hands of the clock continued their eternal journey, Ruth, with a wistful smile, embraced the inevitability of time and walked into the unknown, carrying the echoes of history in her heart.